Hello, everybody. It's me, Jackie, and I'm back again with Lisa and with Alpha One COPD connected together, tethered, sorry, not together, tethered by hope. And Lisa, I'd like you to introduce yourself and share your story with us, if you would.
Be happy to, Jackie. My name is Lisa Kosak. I do live in Vero Beach, Florida. I started my first 33 years in Minneapolis, and then I moved to Colorado in 1996 and started feeling some issues maybe about 2005. 2006, swelling of the ankles, and I was on my feet a lot, and I just kind of thought maybe it was early menopause or just because of the job I was working. And ended up it was getting worse and worse. And a friend of mine that was a doctor said that I needed to come in and see him. And I did. And I went through the process. He thought it was my heart. And I went for a heart catheterization at his request. And it came back that I had no heart issues. And the heart
Good.
doctor, thank you. The heart doctor said, "You have sleep apnea." And I went, I'd never heard of that either. So I went for a sleep study at National Jewish Respiratory Hospital in Denver, because at the time I was living in Eagle, Colorado, up in the mountains, and met with some of the doctors there, did 2 days of testing, and the last thing they did was a blood test. They wanted to rule out lupus and any other autoimmune disease. And about a week and a half later, I get this call, and it was the doctor, and he said, "You have this thing called alpha 1 antitrypsin deficiency." Standing in my kitchen in Eagle, Colorado, going, "Huh? What's that? Never heard of that before." I said, "Can you spell that?" I sat there with my little,
Right. I didn't think
wrote it
I'd ever
all
be able
out.
to say that again.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what? I thought I had sleep apnea. So I started doing some research, which we all do. You get on Dr. Google and you're scared to death. But I decided, well, that was in 2007 when I was diagnosed, and I started the infusions. I had gone down after I was diagnosed and met with Dr. Sandhouse and his staff. And, when he told me I had to have infusions the rest of my life, I was just like, no, just, give me the pill or whatever it's going to take. Fix me. I'm too busy for this. At that time, I had two businesses. I was on the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce of Eagle County. I had two kids and two sports. I had just quit playing ball. I was at 40. I was still pitching softball and batting fourth, and I couldn't get around the bases anymore. I could still hit the ball a mile, but I couldn't run. I get out there. So,
Sub.
yeah, I'm like, going, just fix me. I'm too busy for this. And he said, well, they told me I'd have to go on Medicare, and I'm going, what are you talking about? I just couldn't wrap my hands around it, or my head around it. And on my way home up over the mountain passes, because I had asked them before I went down for this consultation, do I need to bring anybody with me?
Mhm.
Or, like my brother, would I drove down with me? Oh, no, his nurse said. So I drove down there by myself, and I cried all the way home.
Yeah.
I don't remember the drive. So anyway, I started the infusions. A friend of mine was a nurse. She'd come over every once a week, and we did the infusion. And my kids and I talked, and we decided that I should probably get to lower elevation. So we did a big road trip. We went into California, into Arizona, and a couple times to Florida. And Florida was where my stats were the best, but I was already down to 36% lung function at that time.
Wow.
So got the kids all in school and in their sports, and then I got involved with the foundation and AlphaNet. I am a strong believer in clinical trials. I've been in every one that I could possibly be in. The grad study, I've had liver biopsy. 2015, when the valves came out, I was one of the 30 alphas that qualified for the valves study. So I did the spiration valves in 2015. When they were approved in December of 2018, 2019, I got the second set on the other side. That helped out a lot. I could get in and out of CVS or Publix, the grocery store here, without oxygen, and I could manipulate, but
Wow.
slowly things progressed. And last year I contacted Dr. Zamora, who is also on the board of directors for the Alpha One Foundation, said, I think I'm in the window. So I went for initial consultation. He said, you are in the window. August 31st.
Do you know what? Sorry to interrupt, but I was just wondering, do you know what your FEV was when you started testing for your new lungs? Or
I
for
was about 20. Yeah, I was low. And I mean, I couldn't get to my mailbox and back, and I don't have a big lot. I just have a little standard city lot, it wasn't like
Yeah.
I had to go very far,
Right.
and I have to plan my day and, the oxygen use. And um, so August of last year, I was put on the transplant list August
Yeah.
31st. Yeah. My first call was December 8th. Got all the way up there, got almost all prepped, and they
Hmm.
sent me home. They
Mm.
weren't any good. December 26th, I got the second call, and my brother was down here from Colorado. He's like, "It's going to be a Christmas miracle." I got halfway up to the hospital. They called and said there's illicit drugs. Go home. So I turned around. So the fourth time, I went up. I went up January 20th. They called me up, and on the 21st, I was given the gift of new lungs. Kind of wish I would have done it earlier, but I've always been told to hang on to what you have for as long as possible. So
Hmm.
now this morning I got up and I biked 5.5 miles, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to honor my donor every step of the way. I try very hard to keep them in my thoughts and prayers of family. There's a lot to it. There's drugs on the other side. There's issues on the other side. My diaphragm, because of the hyperinflation of the alpha lungs, didn't want to kick in right away. It was like working at about 50%, but they fixed that. I had had some AFib while I was there. They tried the cardioversion and it worked, but it didn't work. It would go for like 2 or 3 days in sinus rhythm and then it would just decide to go into AFib. So they did the ablation and they told me that after 6 months, then I could probably get off the blood thinners. So yesterday, after 2 weeks, I had a heart monitor on for 2 weeks to prove that I don't have any more AFib. So I should, by the end of this month, be off of blood thinners.
Yay.
But I'll tell you, it was a process, and I had a great support system. My brothers were down here multiple times. My sister-in-law stayed with me for 3 months. My cousin Penny came down for a month. So you need a good support system because you can't drive for a few months. You can't. There's
Yeah.
and it's not that you're just laying there. My issue is because I ended up in ICU for 6 weeks because of my diaphragm. Most people don't have that
Okay.
problem. My goal was I was going to be out of there in like 8 days, 10 days.
Yeah.
6 weeks later, I mean, people across the Alpha community thought I died.
Well, I know. I remember waiting and waiting for updates. I'm like, I want to hear something. I want to hear, but I thought, okay, maybe since there's no word that you're just kind of, hanging out and let, things
It
settle
was
down.
Yeah, there were some challenging events, but some people just skate right through it. So everybody's different. This was my story, minus a lot of details, but
Well,
I'm an
thank you.
open book.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I was trying to think the first time that we met, and I'm trying to think what is it? Probably 13.
2013 in DC.
Ah, you remembered. I was trying to think which one. I was thinking it was Minnesota. Our first conference was in Minnesota.
I, you know what? I didn't go to that one. My first
Really?
one,
What?
my first one was in 2013. My very first one.
So that was the first time. Oh, wonderful. And that I'm going back to Minneapolis tomorrow. I leave tomorrow for
Good.
Ed
I'm
Day.
so happy.
Are you
You
going
do. You No, I wish.
to?
AlphaNet will send us if we have uh, patients or
Oh,
alphas in that community.
oh, yeah.
And I don't because I'm all of Florida, Southeast Georgia, so that's not my territory.
Darn.
I know.
I'll have to wait till June now, maybe to see you again.
Yeah, yeah, in San Diego, it's gonna be pretty exciting.
Yay. Nice, nice.
But Jackie, I'd like to thank you for what you do for this community. You are so in front of it and so proactive, and
Thank you.
I admire you a lot.
Oh, thank you so much. I love doing it. I love helping. I mean, I've always loved to help others, but I just want to give back to what, I felt like was given to me when I was first learning. And, we had all our oldies that
Yes.
taught us. So, I mean, I just want to, and I just hope, just spreading that awareness and out there, I just hope that, help one person. I mean, I had symptoms for over 10 years before I was even diagnosed. So I thought if I can get someone tested sooner, or just help them. Everybody's always on me about any times my family hears someone's talking about lung disease or liver disease, or they're like, "Oh, here we go. Mom's gonna
I
go
know
into this.
my kids too.
We're gonna be here for an
I mean,
hour now."
I mean, Sam's Club. I heard some lady coughing behind me a couple of years ago. I'm going, that sounds like an alpha cough. It sounds like bronchiectasis.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I thank you. I am going to ask you. Well, I want to ask you two questions, or maybe the second one's maybe not. First of all, would if you had to do all over again, would you have your transplant again?
Yes, 100%.
Great, good, good.
100%. I was told in 2014, I went in for my first evaluation, and I was told by a doctor at that time that they could hold me out for 2.5 years. And my son was with me, and we walked out of that one, and I just looked at him and I go, no, I can do better than this. And that's when I
Mhm.
started, doing a lot of research on the valves, and they were doing them in Europe. But if I went over to France or England to get it done, it was going to be like 30,000. Well, I didn't have that laying around.
Right. Oh God. Yeah.
Definitely, insurance wasn't going to cover that. So
Right.
I followed them, and I just got myself all wound up waiting for him to come into the United States for trials. And at first, they were only going to do COPD patients
Oh
and
yeah.
no alphas. And then right at the end of the study, they allowed 30 to come in. And I was told that only 1 in 10 alphas would actually qualify due to the fissures. To get the valves, your fissures, it's a membrane that goes across your lungs. If that isn't complete or has any holes in it or anything like that, the valves will do you absolutely no good, because the whole part of the valve is to close off areas of your lungs that are inefficient or diseased. And so when it closes it pulls it up, and if there's a hole in this fissure, it'll just reinflate, and then you're right back to where you were.
Yeah.
But the one thing I liked about the valves was that if they didn't work, they could be removed easily,
Yeah.
relatively easily, depending on how long you had them.
Yeah.
But I know some people it doesn't work. Some people had allergic reactions.
Mm-hmm.
I did not.
Right. Right. And then I guess I've been asking everybody, if everybody's watched the interviews, just what advice would you give to a new alpha that was newly diagnosed?
Well, me personally, I would say get involved, because knowledge is power. Get to a support group meeting. If you don't have an AlphaNet coordinator, get one. If you're infusing, you should have one. If you're not infusing and you're an alpha, you should contact the REACH program through the Alpha One Foundation. And that they Siobhan deals with all the non-infused alphas. But the more you, and then with the foundation on the alpha, the number one.org, there's a tab to get involved and raise awareness in your family. Make sure your family's getting tested. I know some families, I mean, they fight it, but you can only do so much. But it is genetic, and you just got to let them know about it, educate them, and
All right.
make their decisions.
Yeah. Well, thank you. This has been so nice. It's so nice to see you again.
I've met so many wonderful warriors along the way.
Yeah.
It's that genetic link to the Norwegians, the Vikings.
Right.
That where it all came from. And
Right.
educate yourself on that. That's just kind of my personal opinion.
Right. Right. Well, thank you. And thank you for all you do. You do so much for all of us alphas. Not only your people that you work with that are your, patients that you deal with through AlphaNet, but for all of us, all the things that you're always out there doing, everything for us. So I appreciate that too. And thank you so much. And thanks for being with me today. I appreciate it.
Jackie, I would do anything for you. You're great.
Thank you. Right back at you. All right. Take care.